So Rule 17 is a very tactical rule in the right-of-way rules. It says that when a boat clear astern becomes overlapped within 2 of her hull lengths to leeward of a boat on the same tack, she shall not sail above her proper course while they remain on the same tack and overlapped within that distance, unless in doing so she promptly sails astern of the other boat. This rule does not apply if the overlap begins while the windward boat is required by Rule 13 to keep clear. So fundamentally, Rule 17 gives the boat ahead when 2 boats are coming together an advantage. It lets you protect your lead. So in this case, the yellow boat comes from behind within 2 boat lengths of the blue boat and is the leeward boat. So right away, she has rights under Rule 11, which is the windward boat shall keep clear. But Rule 17 is a limit on yellow's course because it protects blue a little bit. It means she can't luff blue unless it's her proper course. So she can't just, for the purposes of slowing blue down, say, take it up, because she wants to get around blue. Blue has that protection. So in this case, blue alleges that yellow broke Rule 17 because she asked for her to keep it up. Yellow alleges that there's no foul because she's the leeward boat. Why can't I go where I want? So let's take a look at Rules 11 and 17. Rule 11 says, when the boats are on the same tack and overlapped, a windward boat shall keep clear of a leeward boat. 17 says that if a boat astern becomes overlapped within 2 of her hull lengths to leeward of a boat on the same tack, she shall not sail above her proper course while they remain overlapped. The proper course is a course a boat would sail to finish as soon as possible in the absence of the other boats referenced in this rule using the term. A boat has no proper course before her starting signal. So what would you do if that other boat wasn't there? Not what would you do if the rest of the fleet wasn't there. What would you do with that boat not there? If you wouldn't turn to windward, you're not allowed to. So did yellow break Rule 17? The answer is yes in this case. Did blue have the option not to turn up, let yellow hit her, and then protest? No, because blue is still bound by Rule 11 to keep clear. What would give yellow the option to turn up there?
Another boat forcing it to.
Great. So another boat forcing it too. What else?
What about a mark?
Going to a mark. Absolutely. How about if there's a big puff to windward and yellow wants to get there? That's her proper course. That's what she would do normally to get around the race course. Absolutely, she has the right to sail to that puff if that's there. So in this case, there was no apparent reason, so yellow is penalized. So now let's look at, there's a large puff filling to windward. Blue's in the puff and sailing down, and yellow is trying to get up into that puff. Same thing, yellow came from behind. So blue says, my proper course is down. I'm in the puff. You can't make me go above my proper course. So what do the rules say? It says that when a boat clear astern becomes overlapped, she shall not sail above her proper course. So what the windward boat's proper course is isn't relevant. It's what the leeward boat's proper course is. So did yellow break Rule 17 in this case? No. So no penalty because blue kept clear. So here's an appeal from US Sailing that the synopsis says different boats may have different proper courses at any given moment. When the proper courses conflict, the leeward boat subject to Rule 17 is entitled to sail her proper course. So this is just reinforcing with the casebook that absolutely it's the leeward boat, not the windward boat, that dictates proper course. So here's the opposite. Now the blue boat's coming from behind. Is yellow within her rights to throw the hard luff?
Yes.
So let's look at the situation. Blue says yellow broke Rule 17. Yellow says she wasn't bound by 17. Let's look at 11 and 17, windward leeward. And when a boat clear astern becomes overlapped within 2 of her hull lengths to leeward. Now it's to windward. So does yellow break Rule 17? So the difference here is this is how the rule is supposed to work, where it says when we say the boat ahead has some advantage. They can protect their lead by doing that hard luff. They're bound by Rule 16 not to turn so fast that there's not room when they change course, or Rule 15 is changing course. So you need to do it in a reasonable way, but absolutely you could take them all the way head to wind if you wanted to. So when you interact on these situations, the boat ahead has the advantage. If the boat goes beneath you, that boat's bound to not sail above their proper course, and if they go above, you have all the rights in the world to go where you want as long as you give them room to do so. So here's a question. We're just going to go into does Rule 17 apply? So yellow overlaps to leeward. Rule 17 applies at position 2 for sure. How about at position 3 after yellow jibes twice? The rule says she shall not sail above her proper course while they remain on the same tack and overlapped. So once that jibe happens, we've reestablished there's no Rule 17 burden on the yellow boat. So a common way for you to establish the control over the situation, especially in aggressive racing, is to jibe twice. And the assumption is that if you've jibed twice, now blue certainly had some time to understand that the dynamics of the situation have changed. So at position 3, there is no binding there. How about now? Is yellow bound by 17?
I would say no.
So let's look to the rule. Rule says, this rule does not apply if the overlap begins while the windward boat is required by Rule 13 to keep clear. So in this case, blue is tacking. So after she crosses head to wind, she's bound by Rule 13 until she's on a close hauled course. So as long as they're on that tack, now yellow does have the right to sail above proper course because that 17 does not exist because it happened while the windward boat was tacking. Sorry. So let's look at the next one here. Now blue's going really slow. Spinnaker's in the water and dragging, or there's a big weed on the rudder, or is simply a smaller boat. At position 1 and position 2, yellow has a clear Rule 17 obligation. At position 3, you can see the line, yellow broke out clear ahead, and then slows down at position 4. Does yellow have an obligation under Rule 17 now? Yellow loses her obligation at position 3 because the overlap ceases to exist.
But the blue boat doesn't have an obligation.
Right, the blue boat is not the leeward boat, so the blue boat doesn't have a 17 obligation. They're just bound by windward leeward, but the yellow boat can go wherever she wants.
Yeah, at that point, the yellow boat can stop the blue boat.
Correct. Yes. So let's take a look at the 2 boat lengths. At position 2, an overlap is created. They get more than 2 boat lengths apart, and then they come back together. Does blue have an obligation under Rule 17? Again, let's go to the rule. And it says, becomes overlapped within 2 of her hull lengths to leeward of the boat. So if you get to more than 2 boat lengths, then that situation kind of reestablishes itself in the eyes of the rules. So between positions 2 and 3, while she's separating, she's bound by Rule 17. But at position 3, once they get more than 2 boat lengths apart, then she's not bound by Rule 17.
And as they come back together, that 17 doesn't come back into play because
Correct.
they were overlapped.
Because they were overlapped more than 2 boat lengths apart. So to recap, a boat clear astern becomes overlapped within 2 of her hull lengths to leeward of a boat on the same tack. She shall not sail above her proper course while they remain on the same tack and overlapped within that distance, unless in doing so she promptly sails astern of the other boat. This rule does not apply if the overlap begins while the windward boat is required by Rule 13 to keep clear.